Shop.
Damn.
I'm so mad I didn't get that on the fucking camera.
It's okay. That was just for us.
You'll do it again. Excellent. You just
We'll
throw
get
up.
there.
Apparently, if you throw up on stream, it's violating TOS. You can't throw
Yuck.
up on stream.
Yeah,
Did not-
probably something
Fair.
about sexual content.
What the? I think it's more. I think actually in Twitch's TOS, it's classified as a form of self-harm, and I don't know why. I couldn't.
Oh,
You just thought it was
eating
yucky.
disorders.
Oh yeah, bro. Well, I was
What
gonna
did
make
you
a joke
say,
there
Derby?
that I'm not going to make, but
But I
You
just thought it
swallow
was
that
yucky.
joke back down.
Violated TOS for being yucky. But
Yeah,
I
it-
For
wasn't.
being
Exactly.
yucky.
Well, you can
Yucky.
go on YouTube and actually also fucking welcome to the table, everybody that's watching. You can look up compilations of people who are like, because streamers, if it's their full-time job, apparently, if you miss, let's say you stream like every Monday through Friday, like I'm talking like 6 hours a day. If you miss a day, Twitch is so wild, like in terms of the viewer base, like the resurgence rate drops down by like 20% for every day that you miss, regardless of the reason. So there are videos of people who like stream when they're very ill and just in the middle of the stream.
You're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
exactly,
You're good.
yeah.
Yep. That's your Drew. That's your
It's
time.
exactly as gross as
do
you
that.
think it is. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, but yes.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But the vibes of the pre-stream fucking chat was so chaotic, and I am so ready just for roleplay and for this like Three Stooges escape attempt. So is there anything else that wants to be said before we hop right in?
Hoppy Leap Day.
Happy Leap Day.
Eat that.
We can everyone play D&D. Watch us. This will be. You can't watch us again on this day for 4 years. So
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to everybody who only has a birthday once every 4 years.
Yes.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What's it feel like to age at 1/4 the speed of everybody else?
God Almighty, could you imagine? That'd be a pretty fucking cool D&D character, born on a leap year and is now like 250 years old. They can't
Oh
age
my
unless it's a
God.
leap year.
I've lived for 12 years, but I'm only 4 years old.
Does Titanum have leap years? Yes.
They should,
Okay,
because
excellent.
otherwise the math would get fucked.
That's true. Well, because yeah, like I've always known that leap years like reset the calendar, basically, like they reset it with the sun or whatever. But I don't know how that works, and so I've never talked about it before.
It's too much math.
Yar.
Yeah.
It's rewind
Talked about
time.
it.
Yeah.
It's rewind time.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking about also, by the way, to anybody, this is Allatour episode 20. If you haven't watched Misadventures Cherie Part 1, go watch it. It will be relevant to context of how Cherie teleported from Tornado to here. So so if you haven't seen that, you're missing out on some extra content. But yada
You're
yada
not
yada.
getting the
It's sick
full
as hell.
story.
Yes. But is there anything else, or do you want to play some D&D?
Oh, play some D&D.
I'll play some D&D.
Da-da.
Must
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking at my spells.
Okay, you're gonna have time to do that because I got some describing to do before we hop right in. But speaking about hopping right in, how about a deep and cleansing breath and get this game on the road? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then everybody, please join me. And everything after the breath is canon. Okay, we all ready to jump in?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So I'm gonna get through this description as fast as I can, so we can hop into the rescue. So, last we left off on Allatour Courte, failure. Now it's rare for the rulebook optional crew, but it's always a possibility. Hathor, the love cleric, Cassiano, the useless noble, and Wax, the deceptive trickster, were sadly swept away by a tornado right outside the castle walls of Herbe Courte. Within this tornado, all three sadly perished, but were then promptly revived in a combined effort from F, the thorn-in-your-side vampiric knight, and Sherietto Pavalacqua, the past his prime former ruler of Herbe Courte. Cassiano Alwyn Pavel was infected with vampirism, and by the looks of it, he will soon transform into a full-on vampire spawn and be the servant of F indefinitely. However, Allatour and Wax were both infected with lycanthropy. The disease is progressing through them slowly due to their fey and angelic blood, meaning they have more time to find a solution for their issues than Cassiano. However, it seems that F and Sherrieto are content to simply run out the clock and wait for the disease to progress to its final stage, meaning that Wax and Allatour must act quickly if they aim to keep their minds and their freedom. Now, this is a good spot for me to do a little bit of retconning regarding resources. So, I said before, episode 19, that you're reduced down to 1 HP with no restoration of magical abilities, but then given the plan made by Cherie in Misadventures Cherie Part 1, we're going to change the available resources that you have with some pros and some cons. So, some pros real quick. You are both back at half HP, but Wax, please roll 2d4 plus 2 and tell me what you get.
Oh, shit. 2d4 plus 2.
Yes.
That is 9 total.
In addition to half HP, you get 9 additional hit points because you ate that meat being cooked by the fire.
Oh, shit!
Oh.
Let's go!
You both also have half of your spell slots restored, rounding down. Now, we already talked about that in terms of like threes and everything, so I don't need to go into detail on that. But really quickly, because I believe resources were so low that as you guys are kind of being healed up in combination of like this disease kind of accelerating your normal physiology as well as like taking over some of the, like, you know, as it progresses from the wound on the nape of your neck. Allatour, give me a performance check and get a 15 of high or higher. And Wax, give me an athletics check and give me a 15 or higher.
Okie doke.
And Cherie, we're going to get to you in just a little bit, okay? All good. Perfect.
I didn't.
Didn't do it?
Got a 10.
Got a 10?
I got a 21.
21. Allatour, we're going to cut it. So I still got some more rule stuff to go over, but just to explain that a little
I flipped
bit.
my coin.
You flipped your coin? Okay, got it. No problem.
I got a 16.
Got a 16?
No, yes, a 16.
Excellent. With that, you both focusing in on things that you are very proficient in. Allatour praying and putting this plan together as you're shoving your hands and your binds into this fire, and Wax as you are kind of just gearing up for whatever Allatour has planned, as your muscles kind of like tense and you can feel some of the pain escape from your joints. Allatour, you regain your channel divinity, and Wax, you regain your channel divinity. Correct?
Oh,
is that what it's
yes.
called? Is that
Yes.
that's what it's called? Correct?
Yes.
I got it. I want to make sure.
Yes.
Excellent.
Hype.
Very, I'm not gonna lie, very good use of the coin flip. That is going to be very powerful going forward. So, with both of you having those resources back, we now get to the downsides. So, as you guys know, because I sent out those lycanthropy rules, I made custom lycanthropy rules for this game, and if you didn't get a chance to read it, we're just gonna go over it right now. Your wounds are healing quickly, and your magic is returning to you, but in part, it's from the lycanthropy knitting your bodies back together. So, there are 3 total stages of lycanthropy, and you are both at stage 2. So now there are pros and cons to this because, again, your physiology is changing. Some of your abilities are changing. So the pros, excuse me. 1, D&D rations and any cut of meat, raw or cooked, now acts as minor potions of healing, which will be 2d4 plus 2. And you're able to consume them in roleplay if you would like to, but in combat, that would be a bonus action. So you can eat a D&D ration, you can eat a ration, or you can eat a cut of meat, and that will function in that way. And you both now also have the keen smell and keen hearing abilities, granting you perception checks that granting you advantage on perception checks that rely on those senses. So for whatever reason, you want to find something, track something, or just like trying to clock your environment a bit better, just relate it to your hearing or your smell, and you'll get advantage. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. However, now there are cons. So, 2 cons. Number 1, attacks with radiant with radiant damage or silvered weapons now automatically crit when they hit. So it's not a guarantee that they will hit, but when they do, they automatically do double damage. That's number 1. Number 2, you both are now vulnerable to Sherietto's Howl. But I'm not going to tell you exactly what that does yet if you haven't read the doc. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But with all of that, I want to make sure that we're all very clear here. Are there any questions about resources or status effects or anything with the lycanthropy? I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
So they crit.
Yes, what's up?
If they hit, they crit. Double damage.
Yes, so there's no guarantee. So the attacks don't automatically hit, but if they do hit, the damage the damage dice are doubled. Make sense?
So yeah. So okay, got it.
Vulnerability. A better way of saying that would be you have vulnerability to those that damage type, but again, fucking sometimes they only learn by messing up. So, is there any other questions? No, all good. Okay, then without further ado, we can resume where we left off. And again, we're going to hop around a little bit to kind of include Kate and Cherie in this from everything from Misadventures. But we're going to focus back on Wax and Hawthor immediately. So just to set the scene again, surrounded by vampire spawn chowing down on these cuts of meat, you see a badly wounded, bandaged F still healing from the tornado herself. You see the old wolfkin Sherietto Pavalacqua sitting in his wheelchair, just relaxing, kind of looking up at the stars, coughing slightly here and there, with this fire burning in between these circled carriages. And Hawthor and Wax, as you guys are focused on this fire in the center of this little cooking fire in the center of everything, your arms and your chest and your backs are now covered in spotty carpets of hair. It's nothing inhuman yet. It's just ample and warm and protective. So both of you are in restrictive bindings. Hawthor, your ropes doused with unholy water, Wax in irons made of cold steel. Hawthor, with Wax right next to you, you disguise your actions as a prayer, and you slowly press your hands into the campfire. And it was unresolved last session, but you are able to watch as one by one, covered up by the flickering wisps of flame, the strands of the rope binding around your wrists begin to burn away in flashes of pink flame only detectable to you. So as your wrists slowly begin to be freed, Wax, do you do anything to help Hawthor? Do you want to spot anything around? What are you trying to do?
I guess the first thing that I'm going to do is I just want to keep an eye on everyone around us and make sure that no one is seeing Hawthor do this.
Okay.
And do we have our things with us?
Okay.
Would you say?
So here's the way that we're going to rule that. Anything small enough that it could be considered jewelry or just a useless trinket, basically, has been kept on your person. However, your satchels and your weapons have been stripped from. So for example, just like how Hawthor would still have Higgy's charm, you would also have Alwyn's ring with Pinecone in it. If that makes sense.
Okay.
However, your weapons and any other more obvious items that you keep in a bag on your side or a backpack, those are stored over by F's little constructed little lean-to shelter with a chest in front, presumably with the items inside, with Hawthor's broom behind it. Make sense?
Gotcha.
Okay. So we got all that. So with that, and you want to make sure that no one sees what Hawthor is doing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So give me 1 second here. Actually, I'm gonna flip a coin just to be totally fair. Okay. F is keeping a watchful eye on both of you, but is also kind of shifting her attention towards trying to get Sherietto to eat some food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a perception check for F. Now, if you would like to grant disadvantage to this, how would you like to be look at me, I'm going to distract you, basically, you know what I mean?
Okay. I am not going to I'm not going to stray far from Hather.
Yes, okay.
But I'm going to kind of like stand up in a huff and like pace back and forth and just generally look kind of like restless and angry, like I'm going to do something, but like no clear threat as of yet, but I'm just trying to like draw her eye as the bigger threat.
Absolutely. Give me a quick give me a check that you think would work for Wax to draw the most attention. I'll let you flavor it how you want.
Okay. Can I do persuasion?
You absolutely could, yes.
Okay. That is a 19.
A 19. Immediately, so cool, not a problem at all. F immediately looks over to you and just sees you pacing back and forth. And I'm going to say that with you said it was a persuasion roll, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then with that, I'm going to say, would you say anything to F to like just kind of get her eyes like locked on you, or would it just be a kind of like huffing and just kind of walking around? Flavoring it as like, persuasion, baby. You know what I mean?
Yes. Just, I say to her, I had something in my brain. It ran away from me. I have it. I swear. I say to her, I'm not getting paid enough for this, you know?
She looks at you and she kind of like sits down in a huff on a barrel, and it kind of like creaks under her weight, and she says, "You can dedicate yourself to a cause more worthy for less pay, and you might sleep better because of it."
You might sleep better, but you won't sleep as comfortable as you would on a feather mattress that you buy with the money they pay you.
What an incredibly appropriate answer for someone as yourself.
What can I say?
She looks over at Chariotto, then looks back at you and says, "I'm surprised that you two come from the same place, with his dedication and seemingly a fey obsession with creature comforts. Confuses me."
Well, I would describe myself as dedicated, just not to the same things as him.
That'll change. And as this conversation with F continues, Hawthor, the strands suddenly and burst off of your wrists, and your hands are unbound. And before we get into whatever action you would like to take there, so I'm going to give you some time to think about this, we're going to cut away, and we are going to focus in on Cherie. Now, Kate, you've been very patient, and I do appreciate that.
I'm watching my shows.
What we're going to say is that just for ease of access here, you have hitched your horse maybe 50. Oh no, actually no wait. This is Minhui. Minhui is so well trained. You don't even need a hitcher. You can just say, "Minhui, wait here," and Minhui will just wait like 50, 80 yards away outside of with fire blindness, unable to be detected, and you are stalking the shadows around this camp of carriages, and you're able to hear a distant. And you know that the Rough Riders have successfully distracted Havoc and Chaos, pulling them away from this camp. Now, I know that you said before that you wanted to say or do something badass at the end of Misadventures, we just didn't have time for it. So, Cherie, as you're approaching in the shadows, what do you want to do? What's going on?
Have I gotten to the perimeter of the camp?
You are slowly
as I'm,
approaching.
Stalking forward.
You are slowly approaching it.
Okay, and do I see any of the carriages in the distance?
Yes. So what I'm going to say is that basically, given you're essentially right now dismounted and heading towards these carriages, You're able to see, I'll say that you're maybe like 30 yards away. So it's very easy for you to see the fire. You know that Hathor is somewhere inside. You know that F and Sherrietto are somewhere in there. You haven't gotten eyes on Cassiano yet. Or Amadeus. And what you're able to see is that there are like, I guess you could call them like sentries sitting on top of the carriages, but they're vampire spawn, like sitting, legs hanging over, like hunched over, like gnawing at some meat. And it seems like 2 per carriage, basically.
Okay. Then I would like to quietly approach one of the carriages. Are there horses tied to the carriage?
Absolutely, yes. You were able to see hooded horses covered in like almost like rainwear, where it covers their head and it covers their body. Give me a quick. I'm gonna say it is gonna be an Arcana check with advantage because of Fey Fiend Undead.
Okie dokie. That is a 22.
22.
Yeah.
You immediately approaching. You hear. And you're able to hear the almost like the choking rattle of a whinny of a horse, but it sounds wrong, and immediately your ears kind of perk up, and you get the sense that this creature is not breathing through lungs. These horses are undead.
Gotcha.
Oh, extra.
Well, and Sherry, kind of putting it together in your brain, you now realize how these people were able to track you guys for 4 days with no sleep. The horses don't need to rest if they're undead.
Yeah.
Vampire horses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like more zombified than vampires, but honestly, just the idea of a horse with 2 giant canine teeth, just 2 huge fangs.
Then I want to quietly approach one of these carriages. And right before I get there, I want to unsheath my sword, scrape it across the bottom of my boot like I'm lighting a match to activate my Crimson Rite.
Okay.
Let me just take the damage from that. Do you need me to make any kind of stealth check?
Well, what are you trying to do?
As soon as I've activated my Crimson Rite, I want to cut the horses free from this carriage.
So would you like to make a stealth check for that? Now,
not really.
You ignite your sword with with like a white phosphorus blood right as you draw it from the sole of your the sole of your boot, and immediately the vampire spawn go. And they're almost like afraid of the fire because like vampire spawn kind of like simpler instincts. Immediately they are reserved towards you, and they immediately just start screeching out to alert the camp to your presence. As I'm gonna switch the music over real quick.
And may I say my thing?
Absolutely, you may. What do you say?
Hold on, let me turn down the music on the watch together. As soon as I cut these horses free, I get my sword back up and I stare up at these vampire spawn, and I call out to raising my voice to the entire camp. I say, "My name is Cherie of House LaCroix. By my authority, release the members of Les Jolies to me, or die by my blade."
Absolutely incredible as you ignite your blade and you cut these horses free. Undead horses normally would not run because why would they act without command? But due to the fire catching on the reins, undead horses fearing this flame, their reins and their like connective like leather straps linking them to each other catch fire, and they immediately begin sprinting off into the darkness as one carriage has effectively been immobilized. Absolutely perfect. Cherie, as you call that out, Hathor and Wax, you guys are able to hear that, and Wax, you immediately recognize the fact that there's probably some kind of conversation in the really near future, as Cherie does not know about you being you. And
Hikers.
Sherrietto kind of like looks up. He like looks towards the sounds of Cherie's call, and he goes. he kind of like laughs. F immediately stands up. Hathor and Wax, what are you guys doing?
I hear that. Look up. I want to make eye contact with Sherrietto, and I just go. And I cast silence on the campfire.
On the campfire.
I cast silence on his wheelchair.
On his.
Let's fucking go, dude!
So you cast silence on the wheelchair.
There is no save. There is nothing. It is a 20-foot sphere of silence.
Wow. You immediately do that, and okay, so F is so because we're not in initiative right now. F's immediate first instinct is not to counterspell what you just did, rather to draw her dagger that she used to press to your throat last episode, and basically get between Sherrietto and like you guys and where Cherie's call is coming from. You guys are able to watch as Sherrietto goes and tries to do his howl. Now, not only would that most likely affect you guys, that would also recall Havoc and Chaos, meaning that Havoc and Chaos will not be a factor as they're being distracted by the Rough Riders. Incredible move, Hathor, as your... So what does it look like as... So because the moment that you, like, your binds are gone, the unholy water is effectively nullified, like its effects just aren't working on you anymore. What do you do as you say that and you cast this on Sherrietto?
I think as she put her hands in the fire, Hathor is not immune to fire damage, and so her skin started to redden and blister and burn a little bit, and the hair was burnt off her her hands and her wrists, and as she raises her like essentially second into third degree burning hands, the burns turn bright and hot pink, and it's almost like she has lava under her skin, as in this release from the unholy water, her divine magic bursts back into her and into her core, and she feels this connection to Aphrodite, and it's just this hot pink fire that trails from her lips and then turns into this great mist that just fills the campsite as she is just unblinking. She does one blink and looks up, and her eyes are now back to gold, back to this bright burning yellow in her face.
Back to gold, back to rockin', centered on his wheelchair, meaning that as long as F and Sherrietto are within the range of that wheelchair, no sound will be audible for how long is it?
10 minutes.
More than enough time.
It's concentration. I will be fair.
Fucking
it's
okay.
Concentration.
Awesome. And I'm gonna say because you remove your hands from the fire after the unholy water, there will be no damage, so there will be no concentration check as you cast. That makes sense?
Okay.
Okay, super cool. Wax. Hathor cast that. F immediately get again. It's like a Mexican standoff, and everybody's drawing their guns for the first time. Hathor cast that. F gets up to protect Sherrietto. Sherrietto tries to howl and fails. What do you do in this moment?
Okay. Wax didn't expect everything to pop off so quick.
Okay.
And goes, oh shit. And kind of squats down and begins to enact his master plan. Pull out his stupid little yellow glasses, break off one of the arms, and try and pick the lock on his manacles.
Oh my
wow.
God.
Not the
One of
glasses.
Three Stooges.
Well,
I'll fix him.
here, well, okay.
I have mending.
For right
No,
now,
I don't.
what I want you to do...
Wait, I
'cause-
do. I do.
In this moment, though, just so we all have this kind of, just in all fairness, the only casualty from the mad dash to Herbe Courte are your stupid little glasses, because I would like you to remove your glasses from your inventory, but add in thieves' tools.
Oh, let's go.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
again, if you'd like to mend them back into your glasses, you definitely can.
Okay.
But that is definitely not that was the right call.
Yellow tinted glasses /
Thieves'
tools, exactly.
Yellow tinted thieves tools.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever asked for a thieves' tools check before. I don't know what that is, but I would like you to make one for me.
I think it's sleight of
is-
hand.
It is as if it's a skill with proficiency, so it's your dex plus proficiency.
Okay, I am not proficient in these, so it is
Okay,
just
go ahead.
dex.
Just dex.
Okay.
Just dex.
That is a 13.
Okay. Very, very simply constructed shackles. DC 12 to pick through them. You are able to, and immediately you just hit one quick tumbler, and they fall off of your wrists immediately. And right now, which means that your magical abilities are restored, and you're able to pop off if you want to.
Okay, sick. I am going to. I think all my stuff is verbal, so I'm going to draw my blade and get ready.
Okay. What blade would
Skill
that be?
divinity, maybe? I don't know.
That's sorry.
So just so you know, any weapons, again, like I said before, have been stripped and put into like F's like little
Right.
like encampment there.
Can I run and try and get them?
You are able. I think in like Hathor's eyes, like when you were clocking the area before, you looked and you saw your broom, and I think Wax would have just trailed off of that vision real quick when there was like, because you guys had a discussion being like, we're getting the fuck out of here. So you look over, you see Hathor's broom, you see that chest, and you immediately would know. You can run over and go see if you can get in there if you want.
Okay. Yes, I am going to try and do that. I want to, and I will. Is Hather's broom in the chest, or is it just sitting there?
Too long. It's just like behind the chest, basically.
Okay, I grab her broom, so we have it, and I'm gonna inspect the chest, see what I can do there.
Okay, now give me a quick athletics check and beat a DC 10.
Okay. 13.
13. You very simple, just like padlock on the not a padlock, but like an overlatching lock on the front that you were able to basically just immediately kick and just rip the top of the chest open, and you were able to see video game logic. Hathor's pack and your pack containing all the belongings that you would have normally.
Okay, am I allowed to grab all of it?
If you would like to take up both of your hands, you can grab Hathor's pack and your pack and sling them both onto your back if you want.
I will do that.
Okay, got it. So we have that. So we're just gonna do it basically like a full round, essentially, starting with Hathor. Cherie, as those. Again, as all this chaos begins, as Sherioto attempts to howl, you're able to hear, and the spawns start, like, again, not having any direct command, they just kind of go into like a general, like, orbiting scout mode, and they try to like move, they begin putting stuff down, kind of like packing up essentially, but you're able to see these two scouts like above you as you cut those reins go, and they jump down in an effort to attack you. What would you like to do?
I want to attack them.
Go ahead and give me 2 attack rolls really quickly.
Okay. That is a dirty 20
Absolutely hits.
and a 13.
13 also hits. Vampire Spawn do not have that high of an AC. Now, what I will say, just so we don't get bogged down with them like just rolling a ton of dice, because again, everything's moving so fast. They hit the ground and begin to come up on you. How does Shuri is a master monster killer? I will ask you right now, because Shuri has like 2 fighting modes. It's like John Wick hand-to-hand, very like ruthless assassin, and then it's also Witcher, highly trained, very kind of almost like she's dancing more than she is like fighting in a way. What mode is she in right now?
I think she's had her short long rest. She's at a more level-headed. She's in her fluid dance fighting kind of state right now.
Okay.
And if you'll allow me, I would like to, as these vampires spawn jump, I want to catch them mid-air with the swing of my sword and lob both their heads off at once.
100%. As 2 grown vampires, but like grown men, leap down, fangs and claws extended outward, you are able to come across and in one fell swoop with one step to the side. Again, sure, you move so fast it's almost like a blur, and you cut off their arms at the elbow, cut their heads off, cut off the other arm, then you go to to the second guy, and it's just like at the elbow, neck, other elbow, and you immediately decapitate and kill 2 of these vampire spawn instantly. As you're able to hear, and you see like claws kind of clambering around as like more are gonna come and try to like grab you, basically. I'm
staying there with my sword. If they come near me, they're getting swung at.
Okay, perfect. No sound in or out. That would then mean we go down to like Sherrietto and F. Sherrietto tries to howl, can't hear anything, can't hear himself, and he just starts kind of chuckling. He just starts kind of laughing, having a good time, just kind of like honestly impressed with the ingenuity. And F immediately grabs him and his wheelchair, picks them both up, and runs them behind the carriage to get them as far away from Cherie and you guys as possible, and runs Sherrietto away. And can I get Wax and Hawthor to give me perception checks?
Perception.
22?
13.
Both good enough. Wax, as you are like grabbing these like bags and stuff, as you watch a spawn begin to like run by you to go to Cherie, because they can like identify the greatest threat. Hawthor, is that magic? You're able to look over and see Wax grabbing your belongings. Your broom only 20 feet away. It's like it's a Sisyphus in his rock. You need it. It's a part of you. But you're able to look over and you see that as F grabs Sherrietto's wheelchair and like picks him up, trying to pick them both up as a unit, not knowing what's going on, she begins to run him. And as Sherrietto begins to like get carried away, he leans forward. And as he leans forward, before they disappear behind the carriage, like trying to get to safety out of sight of you guys are both able to see that as he's kind of like, he's an old man, not very strong. His body's not like basically decrepit. And as his body kind of like lurches forward, his robes loosen and you're able to see a necklace pop out from behind his robes. And it's just a small little like rope-in necklace with a little ornament hanging like where like that would like press against his chest. And what both of you are able to see is an elongated green diamond that's glowing with an emerald energy. Can both of you give me a history check very quickly?
$19.
19?
17.
Both of you would know what this is, because you were there when it was stolen from its rightful owner. You're able to see one of the diamonds used in the necklace of the pillars, used by Winter Scott Key to escape through that portal.
Gotcha.
And but then Sherrietto and F disappear behind the carriage, basically over to safety, which means we're back at Hawthor. Hawthor, you see, again, it's at least a dozen of these vampire spawn now climbing and trying to get over to Cherie and kind of like looking around, like not really sure what to do. It seems like these vampire spawn work better when they're commanded to do something. Like their instincts, like there's so many thoughts and just so many primal instincts overlapping. They're not entirely sure what to do in this moment. So you have just maybe 10 seconds of freedom to do whatever you want to do before shit pops off. What do you do?
Is Cass technically undead?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cass. Cass is
Stupid boy.
Cass is currently as the vampire spawn again. It's kind of like hissing, like again, it's a chorus of hissing and growls around you. You're able to watch his head start kind of like twitching a bit, like he's trying to jump in, but he's fighting against the instinct. In terms of Cass being undead or not, he's not considered to be undead yet. He's infected with vampirism, but he's not at the final stage yet.
Cool. Running across, I'm going to Hathor, like, points to her broom for Wax, like, to grab. Having grabbed it, grabs Cass and by like the like collar of his clothes and just like drags him over to where Wax is. Gives him to Wax, takes her broom, and if you'll allow me, I'd like her to fly over top of where the vampire spawn are and Cherie.
Okay.
and like this glowing beacon of hot pink fire raises her hand in the air and brings it down in a fist, and in a pulse of heat that is straight from the coast of the arbor, she casts Channel Divinity and Turn Undead.
Absolutely awesome. Cherie, just give me 3 quick attack rolls.
Yeah.
It's all popping off.
I was almost at that 20. But that is, I believe, 2 hits. That's a 19 and a 21.
Okay. How do you
And
kill?
sorry.
What's up?
Sorry, I didn't roll the third, and then a 14.
14. As these vampire spawn begin coming out of the cracks of these rounded wagons, and they begin rushing up towards you. Describe to me how you fluidly kill 3 more vampire spawn.
It's what is it? It's a movable force means a movable object.
Unstoppable force and an immovable object.
Unstoppable force and immovable object. As this swarm of vampire spawn are coming at her, she's just continuing to move through them, hacking as she goes. Limbs, heads, torsos, just it's all one fell swoop, as she's not even focusing on how she kills them. She just knows she's striking them down and she's moving forward.
Cherie, you move it so incredibly fast. Just to give like more flavor, if you would like it. You immediately, because again, you are strong and you are quick, a mixture of those 2 incredibly important attributes in a warrior, and you are able to take out both legs of a vampire spawn, sending him spiraling onto the floor. You are then able to catch an about to jump on you, try like grabbing towards your neck and like the gaps in your armor, stab this vampire spawn completely through the chest with your sword, and then trip attack him onto the felled vampire that's currently legless crawling towards you, and stab the tip of your sword through the first one into the second one through his head, killing both of them immediately. Raise your sword out, and then as one of them tries to come and like grab onto your sword itself, grabbing onto the hilt, you're able to turn it, drop it down, and slice deep through his collarbone, through his chest, and almost down to his navel before this flashbang of pink fire goes off, and all of the spawn that were swarming around you begin to back away from this beacon that is Hathor right above you. So we have Cass and Wax still in the camp at this point, right? Okay.
Yes.
So then what are Cass and Wax doing? Or Wax and Cass, I guess is more appropriate.
Okay. So for
Wax.
one question,
Okay.
did they leave my armor on Cassiano?
Yes, they did.
Sick. Okay. I am going to summon Pinecone with my ring, my beautiful boy. Pinecone.
As you summon Pinecone,
I twist the ring. I go Pinecone.
You pull his embers almost like out of the
Pinecone
fire,
can speak
and
in
he's
the
made
silence.
for a moment he's made of twigs and like burning leaves and like burning little points of like fuel. So it almost looks like he's from like a pinkish hell for a moment as you hear as Pinecone is standing there before you.
Okay.
Pinecone, I'm making it canon. Pinecone can talk in the silence.
Well,
Too powerful.
what's going on around here?
It's not the time, Pinecone.
You're ancient Sylvan now. You can talk to Pinecone.
Oh yeah. I
This is Cass.
manhandle Cassiano up onto Pinecone. And I kind of like look in the direction with the least amount of vampire spawn.
Okay.
And I point whichever direction that is, and I say, Pinecone, just go.
Well, I'm happy to get the lead out for you. And Pinecone, because again, this vampire spawn is rushing away from Hathor. I'm sorry, I made myself laugh with that one. Is rushing away from Hathor towards where Cherie is. So you immediately cut to the left through the gap in between these 2 carriages and begin hanging around. And then you're able to come around the side of the carriage and see Cherie there, completely spotless, but Palm's favor dripping with vampire spawn blood, and you're able to see Hathor just like pretty as a picture on her broom 15 feet above it all, glowing like a pink lighthouse essentially.
Okay. And I'm sending Pinecone just Is there a gap that I can send him through, or are we kind of surrounded?
Are you, so did you try to leave with Pinecone? Did I mishear you?
Oh, no. Okay, so they're going.
Who? Oh, so,
right? Pinecone and Cass?
Just Pinecone and Cass.
Okay, 66. That was what I wanted.
Oh, no. That was me asking. Who's on first? Okay, so were you and Cass on Pinecone, or was it just Pinecone and Cass? You're Wax.
Oh.
Yes,
I am Wax.
Yes, you are Wax.
Oh, no.
Yes, okay.
I was going to put Cass on Pinecone by himself and just try and get them further away.
Oh, absolutely. Not a problem at all. Everything I just described, but you don't see it. So
okay,
perfect.
cool.
Awesome.
And then I am going to, and where F and Chariotto went behind the carriage, is that the side that Hathor and Cherie are on, or is that like the other?
So just let's go back to compass points real quick. Cherie, Hathor, and all the spawn are basically at the northern section right now. F and Chariotto ran to the southern section, so they got as far away as possible, basically.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to, even though Pinecone and Cass are going in that direction, I'm going to follow behind them and seeing the vampire spawn. I am going to draw my rapier and my dagger, my dagger, and take some swings at these buggers.
Okay.
So that is going to be with my rapier. I swing at one. That is how we feel about a 7.
7 sadly misses.
Offhand attack. On the ground. Offhand attack with my dagger. We're killing it, you guys.
Offhand attack.
That is a dirty 20.
There you go.
As you, well, first of all, very important question that I wanted to ask, but I did not want to interrupt. Wax, what form are you currently in? Do you think you've regained enough mental clarity to hold one form without conscious action, or are you still in that, like, cycling phase? Like, where are you right now?
Definitely still freaking the fuck out. But now that, especially hearing Cherie's voice was kind of a wake-up call and is focusing very, very hard on staying as the Cassiano that Cherie knows.
Okay.
Don't know, like, is still probably not in the best state, but is trying really hard.
Okay, got it. Not a problem at all. So with a... Oh, and you know what I'm going to say? I would like a Constitution check from you.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this is going to be a DC 12, and as the roleplay of this episode progresses, it's going to get progressively harder for you to maintain that form without a proper long rest.
Okay. So that's a con check and not a save?
Con check, DC 12.
DC 12. Immediate 11.
Immediate 11. What I will say, though, Cherie, as you are able to see Alwyn hauling his little legs across the field, turning to come towards basically the direction that you are in, you are able to see either Cass or Amadeus on the back of the horse. You're not sure which one it is. But as Wax, you said that you're approaching these spawn to try to, like, so you're outside of these, like, you're outside of the circle carriages, and you're out in the open now, and you're trying to attack these spawn, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, excellent. I would like you to give me a stealth roll, and I would like Cherie to give me to give a perception check with advantage because it's Fey Fiend Undead.
I don't get that perception. I don't get advantage on for Fey Fiend
then whatever
Undead.
check you get, then whatever check you would like to do to detect Fey Fiend Undead.
I'll do investigation.
Investigation, okay.
Once not wearing my armor comes in handy.
16.
16.
I got a 22.
22. Cherie, you look up and you think, and you look over at Alwyn and you go, that's just one of the Pavel twins. You're not sure which one it is. But seeing Cass's armor. You know that it's Amadeus, and then you think, oh my god, where's Cass? And you watch as a vampire spawn kind of straggling away from the group. Cass, you're able to plunge your rapier deep into the stomach of this vampire spawn, but so heavily turned, again, gaunt skin, elongated jaw, just monstrous looking, does not stop after run through with a rapier, and goes and attacks and like kind of swipes at you. And as you get as close as possible to it, you're able to take your dagger and with that successful attack, just plant it into the top of its head and fall down. And as this vampire spawn falls down, Cherie, you're able to see Cassiano Alwyn Pavel III fall down on top of it, currently slaying this vampire spawn.
I want to go over and offer my hand up to help them up as we're in just this fucking clusterfuck.
Yep.
Everyone attack him! Turn into a ballroom blitz!
We only heard the last part of that, but that was very funny.
That's all we needed.
All we needed. I take the hand up, focus on my hand, and make sure that it's the hand I want it to be, and I stand up.
Okay.
Yeah, my head's just on a fucking swivel. I help him up, and then I'm just focused on the next. By the way, Cherie's leaving a path of fire behind her as her sword is still ignited with the crimson right.
Yes.
And just as like she's basically talking as she's fighting, and says to Cass, "There are 2 Rough Riders distracting the wolves. They should be with us shortly. I have my mount as well. We should be able to make a quick escape."
Okay, let's get the fuck out. Thank
Couldn't
you for
agree more
coming.
on what I count. It's the least I can do.
Okay. Just right on cue, Cherie, you're able to hear, and you are able to hear these horses. You're able to hear the galloping of horses coming rapidly towards you on the eastern and western side of this little like carriage blockade. And then you're able to hear dogs on the hunt, and you realize that you got to go quick, or Havoc and Chaos are going to be a problem.
I'm gonna, lob off one more head, and then quickly turn heel to head back to Minwi.
Okay, awesome. Cherie, you start booking it over to Minwi. Hathor on the broom. Alwyn and Pinecone kind of following behind. What's Wax doing in this moment?
Seeing that we're doing less fighting and more getting the fuck out, I'm going to jump onto Pinecone in front of Cassiano and try and follow Cherie.
Okay, not a problem at all. And I'm going to say that with that, as you guys are able to see the Rough Riders ride up like right next to you guys, Cherie, as you're able to rapidly mount Minwi, this like tall black workhorse, you are the comfortable pirate boot saddle that you have, you were able to kick your reins, and Minwi goes and then flies off in line with the Rough Riders. As you guys look behind you, and you just see the reflective eyes of Havoc and Chaos trailing behind. But as these like that line of fire that Cherie left because of her crimson right, you watch as Havoc and Chaos kind of turn their heads. They smell the flame, they smell the blood, and they can smell Sherrietto and F. They give up on chasing you both, kind of and do like a heel turn, spin, and then go back to help out their masters. As you guys are able to begin riding back to Herbe Courte, the rescue mission being a success.
Woohoo!
Alrighty, we have Cassiano, we have Wax disguised as Cassiano, we have Hathor, who knows the truth about it all, and we have Cherie riding. Now, is there anything that wants to be done immediately, or would you guys save conversation for when you're back in Herbe Courte and kind of chilling out?
I think Hathor will, as we're running away, Hathor will stay overhead of everyone just to keep that sphere of channel divinity going for as long as possible, and to keep us safe and protected. But like she is like this rolling fire, almost fireball of just freedom or death, and so does not speak. He's
Okay.
not in a chatty mood.
Okay. No conversation there.
Fireball.
Got it. How about from Shuri or Wax?
Shuri is focused on getting everyone back safely, so she's saving any conversation for when we're back in Herbe Courte and fully rested.
Okay, perfect.
Wax kind of reaches a hand back and kind of slaps it against Cassiano's arm and gives him 5 points of lay on hands.
Okay.
And says, "Don't fucking bite me before we can fix this. I don't need 2 of this shit. I already got 1."
I don't feel good as you continue riding.
That's a great point, actually. Hathor flies down to be riding next to Cass and Wax, and with Cass, she just like flicks him on the head and gives him a cure wounds. She says, "That's for looking me up and down like I'm a piece of meat." And then to Wax goes, and then to Wax.
This is gonna get confusing real quick.
And then to Wax goes, claps him on the shoulder and says, "We will need to talk, and you will need to tell Shuri."
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
get there.
All right. Well, speaking about getting there, riding in formation, that lay on hands being given, Cassiano, Amadeus, whatever, looks bad, and all you guys are able to clock that he looks sick, like an advanced sick. Not the, although smelly and kind of thinner and like calloused young man that he was yesterday, he looks bad. You're able to see that his eyes are sunken in, his hair is kind of greasy and falling down in front of his, like in front of his eyes. And you're able to notice that he keeps like licking his lips and almost like showing his teeth off for some reason. And everybody here would be able to recognize, even you, Shuri, you would immediately know vampirism. Advancing quickly because he's just a mortal man.
Mm-hmm.
But all, yes, what's up?
Me?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just, can Hathor make a religion check to see if she can remember anything or like think of anything helpful to like help ease vampirism or help slow it down or anything like that?
You know what? Before we get back to Herbe Courte, I will allow you to make a religion check, and if anybody wants to help here, they definitely can. Because it doesn't necessarily need to be a like. Because I feel like just Hathor would be like, this is not like the real world. Where it's very much like it's Christians and vampires, and like those are the 2 options. Like in a world with so many like pantheons of gods, there would have to be some other solution besides just killing him or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So absolutely, you can make that check.
Can I also make a religion check? To help
Absolutely,
her out
yes.
with this?
100%.
Can I give someone the help action?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. Who's got the
Please.
better religion?
Wait,
Give it to
let's see.
Give it to Hathor because I already get advantage from Fae
Okay.
Fiend Undead.
Okay.
I give you avantage
Avantage.
I
with
rolled a
moral
4.
support.
Okay, that's better.
Ah.
That's a 17. No, a 16.
16
I got an 18.
and 18.
Nice.
Hathor? Okay. Shuri. Okay, I'm trying to think of like how to properly explain this as you guys are writing. In your, again, it's just, I think in Shuri's head, it's all about solutions right now, where it's, we got them back, absolutely excellent, let's keep solving problems. Shuri's in the mindset of, we fix shit in this house. And as you guys are riding, Shuri, you would know from all of your training, just like basically as a monster hunter, that in cases like this, now they're extreme cases, although it was not your subsection of training, you are aware that within another subsection of training, within the order of like alchemy, basically, there are ways of chemically producing, like through different like herbs and like certain blessings and certain prayers, there are ways of manufacturing physical cures for vampirism, but it would take someone advanced in alchemy to do so. Now, Hathor, what's up?
Well, I'm just like, because she comes from a temple that is focused on healing people,
Yeah.
and so I
was gonna get to you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're all good.
I was just like, oh yeah.
No, well, Allatour, as you look to the you look at Cass, and again you're thinking you're flying, and your mind immediately goes to Faith. I feel like that's pretty appropriate, where it's like you just escaped 10 minutes ago. You know, in the canon of all of this, you were like, well, time to kill myself and give Cass my broom. So I think the rapid shift of your circumstance in, I think Hawthorne's mind would be, oh, that was a miracle. Like the fact that we all just got out of there so easily, this is a miracle. And in that kind of mindset of Faith, there's like, you would know, again, it's a temple completely focused on healing, and the idea of vampirism, or I guess just like, because again, you saw F, it's the idea of undeath in the way of wounds not affecting you, wounds that can be ignored, wounds that never heal. And that's the antithesis of the Love Temple. And so I think you would know, although it would take some study and take some time, that if you were able to set up the proper circumstances, with the proper like incenses and maybe like the proper procedure, you may be able to make a ceremony in which you could remove the vampirism from Cassiano.
Okay.
But with a 16, what's up?
Yeah, no, you go.
No. Well,
I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're. Thank you. I appreciate that. But the last thing I was gonna say is that but with a 16, it's not like you could do that in 20 minutes. Like that would probably take an entire day for you to do. Make sense?
Okay. She is just starting the grocery list in her head of like, I'm gonna need this incense. I'm gonna need like she is already like planning on busting into that castle. Be like, we don't have time. You go get me sage. You go get this. Boil some water, put a little bit of peppermint in it, and then bring it to me.
Are there official? We'll get to that later. Yeah, we hard cut into the Herbe Courte. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but is there anything else that wants to be said before we cut back to Herbe Courte?
Sound good?
No, all good. Okay, then with that being a complete success, only a 3-hour ride, the Rough Riders beside you, you guys are able to trail your way back, just hauling it for about 3 hours until Wax and Hathor, you guys are able to see the gates of Herbe Courte for the second time in 2 days, and this time you are able to enter in safely, having to dip down into the almost like chasm created by the tornado ripping up this grassland and the roads. But after you emerge out from it, you were able to shoot inside and effectively call base as the gates are and close right behind you. And that's where we're going to take a very quick break, and we're going to hop back into it. Sound good? Okay, escape attempt. Now, for the most incredible slimy roleplay of all time. Slimy and grungy and oily, and it's going to be great. Yeah, we all having fun so far?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely killer. Well, we're going to take a very quick break. We'll be back in probably like 5 minutes. We hope everybody's having a good time, and we will see you soon.
Woo.
And we are back. Okay, awesome. Wow, that was a wild off-stream conversation. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so as discussed, you guys ready to hop back in?
Oh, yes.
Okay, perfect. So it sounds like you guys are going to be, and so we're gonna rule it that you guys are able to enter into the gates. Awesome, super cool, and then begin riding and flying up to the castle. But before you reach there, a private little audience to be held to discuss between all of you what you have learned and what you want to convey to the Pavels. So I'm going to say, as the sun begins to rise on this day, as shadows are now being cast by the buildings, from your east, coming down as the fresh morning sun is able to illuminate the darkness that has shrouded you for this entire evening. You guys are able to very slowly up the stairs and the elevation going up towards Herbe Courte proper. And here you can stop wherever you see appropriate, or you can just have this conversation while riding. And one more question. Wax, currently disguised as Cass. Any attempt to conceal that from the guards that are seeing everything? You are also muted.
Muted.
There you go. Not a problem.
Muted.
Given the fact that the real Cassiano is the one who looks like shit and is currently fighting off vampirism,
Mhm.
as we're approaching, I'm going to take my cloak and turn around and kind of put it over his shoulders, tug the hood over his face, and be like, this is for the best.
Oh, okay, got it. So you maintain your form. You cover up. I'm just gonna call him Amadeus. You cover up Amadeus. and so, absolutely awesome. And you guys continue to ride ever so slowly. All right, the floor is yours. Go right ahead.
Shall we find somewhere to talk before we go in to the castle?
We need to.
Let's find
Very
somewhere.
well.
Somewhere tucked away, maybe somewhere not obvious. Maybe look for like a little, like an alcove or like a little tree situation.
Inside the castle.
Are we inside or are we like? I thought we were in the gates.
You are
and not
are
at the
inside
castle.
the
Oh.
walls in the small towns orbiting the hill leading up to the main castle.
Okay, I'm sure there's
Okay.
some sort of like small, like tucked away pavilion as fancy.
Alleyway.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, yeah. You're able to go in between like a local upholstery shop and between like a local tavern that just closed its doors to do routine cleaning. And given it's so early in the morning, the upholstery shop is not even remotely open yet. And you guys are able to kind of tuck yourselves in. You're able to have Minwee like a wall blocking off one side, and then Pinecone like a smaller wall blocking off the other, and have a nice private alleyway to yourselves.
Take off my glass.
Let's get serious.
This is kind of serious.
Come on now, get serious.
Looks to the both of you. Kind of sighs. Clearly doesn't really want to have this conversation. I haven't been honest with the two of you about myself, about my intentions. The long and short of it is there are no Pavel twins. There is the Honorable Viscount Cassiano Alwyn Pavel, and there's me. And I looked to Hathor for a second, and I looked to Cherie, and I let my form shift back and forth to Hathor's, to Cherie's, back to Cassiano. My name's Wax. I'm a changeling. And this is a business that I have. I find the scummiest, wealthiest people I can who want a good name but don't want to put in the work. And I do it for them. And that's what I was doing for that asshole over there. And I don't know, I'm not sorry that I did it. Maybe I'm sorry that I like you guys, maybe. But so Alwyn is understandably not going to be very happy that we went and got his son chomped on. He's gonna not care so much that I got werewolfed. Oh shit, you sure?
I'm sorry.
I kind of pull the braid aside and show the bite. Yeah, that's another thing to deal with, just to dump one more thing on your plate.
We?
I kind of grimace at Hathor.
I lift up my long bubblegum pink hair, and my fingers are trembling visibly as I lift up my hair to show the bite mark on the back of my neck. Yeah, we died in that tornado, and woke up to a fucking wolfen in a wicker chair, talking about how we were going to help him get into the castle, do a final siege or whatever. Something about, regardless, we can go into more detail about that in a bit. A lot has changed. And I need to just I don't know what to do.
Cherie drops to one knee and bows her head before you two. I should tender my resignation immediately.
To the LaCroix?
Yes.
Why?
Because regardless of whether or not you are their blood, you are still property to House Pavel. And Hathor, you are sent on this quest by the King and Queen, making you both making me I vowed to protect the both of you when I took on this journey, and I failed. I may have brought you back in one piece, but I have failed from what the horrors of this land can do to people. And that is inexcusable.
Wax goes up to you, kind of grabs you by the arm and tries to yank you up. All due respect, Sir Cherie, that's the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard. We were exhausted. We rode for 3 days straight. The fact that you were still on your feet is astounding. I know shitty people and I know failures, and you're the best there is. You were human. You were knocked out you were bested by a tornado. I think few people wouldn't be. You're not resigning from shit. You rescued us. You brought us here, and we can fix whatever happened. And who are you going to help by resigning? The LaCroix? Certainly not yourself. Shuri. You're so good.
She gently takes your hand off her arm and steps back. You don't know the next thing about me. The same as till now I didn't know the next thing about you. Believe what you like, but that is a lie that you believe.
Don't you dare.
I'm not.
We need you. Now, more than fucking ever. Don't you dare.
You think this is your fault? You think this is your failure? Fine. We don't agree. But if it's your fault, then stick around and fix it.
I intend to fix it. Make no mistake of that. Because as appealing as it would be to run, I have nowhere to run to.
That makes 3 of us.
That is not true. You have your home in the arbor. You have wherever it is the Bavels found you. Wherever it is you came from. I have the LaCroix, but it could be stripped from me at any moment.
I'm banished from where I came from, Shuri. I think you and I have more in common than we think.
I should have assumed. What story are we telling to the Marquis?
What have you already told him?
They pieced your death enough. Nothing more than that.
Well, there's no hiding what's been done to us because it needs to be fixed. Charietta, whatever it is that he's planning to do, he's coming. So I think all that we can tell them is the truth, which is rare from me, but it'll be at their doorstep soon enough, so they might as well know it.
Very well. I have no issue with that.
Okay. Oh, and don't know if it helps at all, but I have the other half of the sending stone you sent to your doppelganger. Do you know anything about that?
I wish I did. I hope if it is a conversation she wants, we can get more information. I know it is a large ask, but if I may, the first time she reaches out, or that I reach out, I would like it to be done in private.
That's fair. Do you want to hold on to the stone?
Yes,
I give it to you.
thank you. Know this, because I know it. She may wear my face, but she and I are nothing alike.
I know that better than anyone, Cherie.
Good.
How you doing,
Do you
little
wish to
Pink
say
Riding
something?
Hood?
Don't everybody speak at once, Jesus.
I have no idea what either of you said.
Repeat what you said, Wax. That's better than what I was.
I said, how you doing, little Pink Riding Hood?
Lil Pink Riding Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Never before have I felt more like a child. In a room full of adults who are playing a game I have no idea how is done, or I am so completely out of my element. I hate what is happening to my body. I can feel it spreading like a rot. Do you know I said goodbye? I thought I was going to die when we were running. I flew up high and I pulled out a stone and I said goodbye. And maybe it's because I haven't slept in a week, but a part of me wonders if it would have been better if I had.
Don't you dare. You have people who care about you. I know nothing of the customs of the Arbor or the customs of your family. But I've spent enough time around family to know that your mother would prefer you returned safely in one piece than a simple broom at her doorstep.
I know.
Do you?
I know that she would prefer it. I've never had Mama. I love you.
Speaking of mothers, happy Mother's Day.
Exactly, 10 out of 10, no notes.
Did you hear her come up the stairs? She went, "Hi, my beautiful son."
We also heard a cough from somebody.
I heard.
That was my dad. That was my dad. I am still processing what has happened to me. I don't have control over what is happening to my body.
Yes, you do. Because we are going to fix this. If it's the last thing any of us do, we will fix this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could the Marquis...
There's
Apologies.
no.
Could the Marquis grant some sort of boon, or does he have the knowledge? Has your performance garnered knowledge of how to fix this? Wax.
Of how to fix where lycanthropy?
Yes.
As far as I know, does that seem like knowledge that would at all be in Alwyn's wheelhouse, or anything that I might know something about?
A great question. In terms of what Alwyn can do, probably not. Now, there are designated maesters and doctors that reside within Herbe Courte, and they do have fully stocked storerooms in the event of, like, physical illnesses, so there might be something to find there that could slow the spread. But, as described before, magic is not really done in an extreme and in like a very common way across Allatour, but you would have to imagine that because again, all of the nobles got teleported back to their main castles, so they clearly have some way of communicating with Burhay's Beset over in the Beset castle. And so although Alwyn might not know anything, he could very easily get in contact with Beset and then get you that information from him.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to step. I don't want to.
No, it's good.
I don't want to jump in.
It was good.
Hathor kind of. If I am given a chance to sleep, I will. I am a healer. I have dealt with things like vampirism before, not quite lycanthropy. Where I come from, you see everything and anything. It is more likely to see. Anyways, but I don't know how this land works, and so I will need help to help us.
Any other information you need, we can get from... Alwyn has connections, can get us more information from the Besets. Any supplies you need, we can use Alwyn's connections for those as well. I'd like to think he's not so cruel that he wouldn't help us after we've returned his son. But we'll do everything alive, more or less. But we'll make sure that your body is yours again, Hathor.
Thank you.
And that starts with ensuring the both of you get rest.
I hardly remember how it feels like.
I never want to do that again.
Hmm.
And I don't say that about a lot of things. we should like glances over to Cass. He's probably just like passed out on Pinecone.
Cass is not looking that good. He is.
Oh.
Is essentially like he's in that. You ever see someone sleeping in the back seat of a car and their head isn't back, their head and shoulders are like forward? That's what he's doing right now.
I've done that before.
Yes, absolutely.
We should set up some preliminary just things to make him comfortable.
I have a little bit more healing for him.
No, I mean things, ritual things like we need lavender. We need certain incense. I'm sure that they have some beeswax candles around here somewhere.
Anything you need, we'll get Alwyn to get.
I can
Or his lackeys.
try and take care of the magic in the disease. I'd like to focus on that because that's probably the one thing I can actually do something about. I don't know. I've fake it till you make it. I have been building the bridge as I cross it with this land. I have no idea why you guys do the things you do. This is not to insult you, but I'm out of my depth, and you two walk around. You know this place. You breathe this place. You are part of this place. So, please don't leave me.
No. We're not leaving you, Heather. Right, Shuri?
It needs not be spoken.
Okay, cool. I'm not crying. You're crying, dork. What? We should go. We should be adults.
Yes.
Take care of things.
Perhaps the three of us are alike in many ways.
Hey, we're all hot. You at least have that.
Oh.
Let's get this over with.
Okay.
go.
First of all, wow. Great job, everybody. I am so incredibly impressed by all of you.
Play with you guys.
Quick, just, yellow flag pulling to the side of the racetrack. Everybody doing okay? That was intense for everybody, including myself. Everybody okay? All right, awesome.
Yeah, I'm good.
I fake cried. It was great.
I'm very proud of you, Moss. I was like, I think Moss is fucking breaking down right now. Shit. No.
I'm having such a fun time. There were parts where I couldn't look at you, Drew, because you were so like excitedly watching us that it made me want to smile, and I was like, no.
I was watching my shows. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. That shit, but we're gonna have a whole detox about that later. But you guys ride up to Herbe Courte proper, underneath the battlements, underneath like these kind of like sentry towers. You reach the main gates, which you flew to only a week or so ago, that then begin rapidly opening to you. And very quickly, we're gonna do a little bit of like fast forwarding in a way, just to make sure we don't bog it down with every single detail. But the moments the gates begin to open, you are able to see Alwyn and Adelia begin pushing their way outside. With the long ascent, guards clearly notified them of all of your return. And as they kind of rush outside, you see like the You're able to see some of the brands, not the squadron that was sadly lost at the Laughter House, but like another subsection of the brands rush out, and they begin to help all of you off of your horses, surprised and shocked to see all of you. And immediately, Adelia rushes over to you, Wax, as you're helped down, and gives you the biggest hug, clutching you so close to her, and just says, "You're so stupid. You're so fucking stupid. You're so stupid," and just holds you so close.
I whisper in her ear, "I don't think I'm the one you think I am."
She immediately lets go of you. And then she smacks you across the face.
Yeah. I just kind of nod my head towards the other one.
He's asleep.
Immediately, Adelia snaps her fingers. The brands look incredibly confused right now. But, you know, personal guard, they're not going to ask questions. You know, so incredibly trained, so incredibly loyal. They're not going to ask questions where they don't have to. As she basically pulls the guards off of you, helping you, and points them over onto this, like, hooded figure. The brands, basically this, like, unconscious man who they don't know who it is, they pull him off of the horse. They sling him up, basically pick him up essentially, and they begin carrying him into the castle. Alwyn immediately calls and goes, "We need a doctor here. Get him over to the hostel that we have, whatever we call the hospitals in this world. I forgot."
You need to.
What?
Hathor just steps into Alwyn and starts like listing off like easily done, but like basic things of this will make him more comfortable. You need to get him in this bed. You need to sprinkle a certain amount of salt around him. It just needs to be in a circle, unbroken. And then for his comfort, you need to have, you need to light some sage and clear the room first.
Immediately as you begin saying that, Hathor, give me a quick insight check.
Thank you. Fuck. Can't go advantage because I'm so good.
Actually, you know what, Hathor, with your incredible empathy, I'll say yes, you can have advantage on this. Yes.
Fuck.
She's an empath.
I've rolled so many 4s and so many 3s tonight, fam. So that's that's a 10. It's a 10.
He hates you.
A 10? He hates me?
Well, that's cool. I think what you're picking up, Hathor, with such an emotionally charged, that was a joke. In such an emotionally charged conversation, like 20 minutes ago, in this moment, your understanding of Alwyn is, this is a man who doesn't respect me. This is a man who just sees me as a pirate, who holds no weight of me in his heart whatsoever. And so I think in this moment, you're not even like acknowledging him as a father who is just reunited with his son. I think in this moment, like with a 10, it's like, no, you're a man with power who has the power to save this person, and so I'm gonna tell you what to do, and we don't need to respect each other, but we're gonna get the job done. And so you clock nothing emotionally from him besides that. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can always re-roll that later because there's gonna be some roleplay later on, but at least for right now, it's like, I'm in no fucking mood, Alwyn. Get the fucking beeswax. Okay, so we got Alwyn immediately begins walking with the maesters that are within Herbe Courte. You see they're able to, they have these like very simple kind of like very clean white garments that come down, like caps that come and cover their ears, and they have these like white robes, designating themselves as doctors. You see, they're already walking, kind of hearing you, and they begin lighting some like sage and some incense, and begin kind of waving it in the hallways. And you see Alwyn, not Alwyn, Cass, as he like smells it, he kind of like perks up a bit more, and immediately they kind of look back in amazement towards you, and they know that you either must be an incredible medicine woman or some kind of someone who has healed a lot of sick people, as immediately what you were telling, these like home remedies are working instantly.
Hathor will just smile and touch her charm, take a breath, and just keep going.
As you touch your charm, you actually hear your...
And then her eyes fly open wide and she goes, "Fuck, Higgy! I don't have time."
As you think of Higgy, your sending stone jumps to life, and you're able to hear Higgy's voice call through and say,
"I
have been riding 16-hour days heading south towards Herbe Courte. I'm stopping at the Beset Castle to the north of Herbe Courte to restock on provisions before continuing my journey. I will see you soon. I love you. I hope you're okay.
I am alive. I'm sorry. But it might be better if you don't come. Please forgive me for being selfish.
I'm going to do an insight roll for Higgy. Should Higgy have advantage on this roll?
Yes.
Was in the box, doesn't count. The response that you get back, Hathor, acknowledging the fact that you're very emotionally distressed, and because you know Higgy so well, in your mind, there is truth to what you are saying. But with the incredible amount of distress that you are under, Higgy's response is very short, very simple. And it just says, "Shut up. I'm riding faster now." And you know that in this sense, although you are clearly in a great amount of pain, and I'll, with no insight, you guys know each other so well, that although he is willing to give you space, you are clearly unwell, and there is no place that he will be besides by your side.
Just starts slips in behind Cherie so she can just quietly weep without anybody clocking her.
A nice beacon of hope after such a dark time, such a dark, fucked up like a week. And with that, as Alwyn escorts Cassiano into the medicine chamber, like the Maester's chambers, as Adelia is kind of going to be the main focus point unless you want to go and oversee Cassiano's well-being. She, crying a bit, kind of wipes her eyes and looks to you all for any information you have. If you just want to say, I relay everything to her, you definitely can, but if you want to roleplay, you absolutely can. Up to you. But the floor is yours.
This should be done somewhere private.
Yes, of course. Looks to you, Cherie, and just says, I am incredibly impressed.
Do not be. I'm doing my job.
She steps up to you, and kind of breaks from her like noble way of speech and just kind of speaks to you as a person very quickly and says, "Sir, you rode out in the middle of the night to retrieve corpses. And from my perspective, you managed to bring them back to life. You've effectively done the impossible. If you're ever looking to change allegiances, we'd be happy to have you here."
If that is a long-standing offer, my lady, I will keep that in mind.
Give me an insight check very quick, as she says, "Of course." And then she switches back
Guidance.
to her noble guidance, noble persona, and goes, but you have all looking over at Wax. Done so much, and I am impressed at your commitment and your service to the protection of my family. Thank you. Thank you. But I do wish for a full report, but if you would like to find yourself in your chambers and relax and be fed, that is understandable.
That was a 16.
A 16, a momentary flash in Adelia's eyes where you realize that although this is a woman who probably is not well trained in any kind of physical combat, you get the sense that in that conversation, she momentarily had the eyes of a killer, of someone who is ruthless, and almost like her gaze shifted upon you from someone that was a threat into someone that is an incredibly powerful ally. And I'll just say that, like, Wax, you clock that, and you remember that conversation back when you originally got the mission from Adelia and Alwyn, and how, in the worst case scenario, if Shuri and Hathor found out, there may have to be some mortal consequences.
Right. Okay.
With that.
Yes.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say with that, you guys have your run of the castle, and whatever situation you would like to find yourselves in, you absolutely can. But if you would like to take a proper long rest, you may also do that. Just let me know what you want to do.
After that insight, I say, Lady Adelia, with that offer, while we have dire information, my compatriots, at the very least, are in a more dire need of rest. If they may take a moment, and we will debrief you and the Marquis. Come after they have regained their strength.
It is currently very early in the morning, so Adelia says, this afternoon, before supper, we will have baths drawn, food sent to your quarters, and whatever robes or repairs you need, our best craftsmen will be on it.
Make sure you have scouts on the wall. Look for wolves.
She looks to you, Hathor, and like with a bit of confusion in her eyes, and goes, what do you mean? Why?
Something is coming. And we really don't want to get caught by surprise.
Lady Hathor, I am sure that our ballistas and hot oils and the guardsmen that are around the securities can handle a few wolves. You can sleep easy.
These wolves walk on 2 feet.
Genuine confusion across her face.
Damn! Who trained these wolves?
No, genuine. But she looks to you and says, "All right." You guys get the impression that 4 or 5 days ago probably would not have been the case, but again, you guys just did the impossible, and literally some of you came back to life, as reported by Cherie. And so she says, "I will discuss with Alwyn and fortify the weakest points if possible, but then again, before supper, we will a full understanding of what exactly happened."
And then Hathor just nods and then nervously looks to both Wax and Cherie of like just kind of almost seeking, not approval, but it's clear that she doesn't know what she's doing and she's nervous.
Wax puts a hand on your shoulder and says, we'll go find our rooms and we'll see you to speak before supper. And kind of nods, like kind of like jerks her head at Cherie and starts like guiding Hathor away. And once we're far enough away, I want to say quietly to both of you, if you value your lives, they probably shouldn't know that you know that there's no Pavel twin. Okay.
What form will you take then for your own safety?
For now, this. Until they tell me otherwise when I speak with them. For now, Cassiano's hidden, and there's only one. I don't know what they think will be best later on, but I figure I will take their lead for now.
Very well.
We could have them recommend, you could recommend to them that, Cassiano would obviously stay with his family. He wouldn't continue adventuring on, especially after something so dangerous. So a new envoy be the Pavels. Listen, I can fake be surprised at meeting a new person.
Okay. I'll think of something. It just has to be someone I've seen, someone who makes sense. I'll figure it out.
Rest. Rest comes first.
Okay. Speaking of rest coming first, everybody here is going to go take a long rest, kind of. Oh, what's up?
No, I just missed the first half of what you said.
No, so just what I was going to say, so everybody here is going to take a long rest and just hang out until before dinner time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hathor Wax.
Mm-hmm.
Later, I have a spell that allows me, if I prepare it for the day, that'll allow me to take the form of something else. If you've ever liked or ever wanted to look a certain way but never met a person who looked like that, maybe together we could create who you want to be.
Thank you, Hathor. That means a lot. I'll think about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I need to go to bed.
It's a good idea.
I have disguise self. I can
That
cast
might be
disguise
one of the
self.
coolest fucking uses, like a combination of powers, I think I've ever heard of in D&D.
That's super cool.
I'm gonna be honest with you right now, Moss. I'm gonna say to immediately, add a little bit, a sprinkle of, how that would work. If you would like to make history checks, I will allow you to disguise Hathor as NPCs from the Palm and the Fist that Wax can take the form of.
Well, I was also
Rotten's up
just
in this
thinking-
bitch, you guys.
I was also just thinking, because disguise self doesn't mean you have to look like another real person.
Yes.
You can be whatever too.
No,
so
absolutely, yeah. But if we want to get crazy with it, because Hathor might know NPCs from the Palm and the Fist if we wanted to bridge that gap even further. So
I mean, she does. She lives in the palm.
we'll get into that a little bit later.
She's heard of the Duke and Rocky. Remember, she had a conversation with Cherie about it.
Fucking Wax becomes the Duke, and that becomes more of a problem.
Have you two got
Cherie
problems
just
on purpose?
Cherie, the Kill Bill siren starts playing in Cherie's head. A boop boop.
Just Vietnam flashbacks.
It's like,
Oh,
you're-
no.
It's like, you're a
Air
problem.
raid
You
sirens.
look, do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it'd be so fucking funny if Hathor disguises itself as Rahi, and then Wax becomes Rahi, and then Cherie is like, "You can't do that one."
You pick another one.
I don't like that one.
Cherie would look to Hathor and be like, "You know this bitch? I know this bitch. Where you know this lady from?"
No, I do not know this bitch. I don't know what you're talking about.
I do not know.
I've never seen this bitch in my life.
So articulate.
Never seen this bitch in my life. I just don't like. I don't like this form.
Racist
I've
Cherie.
never really heard you. You don't really express your opinion a lot, man.
This is the one thing I will die on.
Okay, so
Inside check.
last little thing before we go to bed, before we call up for tonight.
No.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, we keep going
More.
then. All right. So Cherie, Hathor, and Wax all being taken to chambers. Again, we're just gonna say it's just in a line, basically. Just like the same guest wing, Cherie, that you stayed in, that you had your short long rest in, and. You all begin to relax and, to the best of your ability, unwind after days and days of travel and death and resuscitation. And we're going to focus on each of you just very quickly. But I want to begin with Wax specifically. Now, Wax, riding hard for basically 4 days, the pain of being decimated by a tornado, being brought back with lycanthropy, Wax right now in his own private chambers. Can you describe to me, Darby, how Wax undoes himself in terms of how he would become in a comfortable state after so much stress? What would that look like?
Just puts the pack down, all of the crap, and for the first time in a very long time kind of starts shedding the artifice he kept up as Cassiano as well, takes off the fancy clothes, unbraids his hair but doesn't bother with brushing it 100 times, and with just the stress of everything is just kind of lying starfish on the bed and not keeping such an ironclad grip on their form as they've been trying to this whole time, and is flickering a lot between Hathor and Cherie, especially going back to Cass, and just kind of lies there half asleep and stewing and upset until he finally just passes out to that dreamless, exhausted sleep.
With brush burns and cuts on your shoulder from your bags from riding for so long, from chafing and almost small boils popping up on the inside of your thighs from riding Pinecone for days, you are able to. That's what you were doing.
I know, it's just funny.
Hey yo,
you,
he was doing what, a pine cone?
of
Wax
all of the
walking
NPCs
like-
in the sex campaign, you have to make the dirty jokes about the fucking donkey.
Man.
Wax getting off the horse, just walking like this.
That's probably literally all of you, including Hathor,
Yep.
because of just all the fucking chafing from wooden brooms and saddles of horses. And Wax, you're able to dip into a dreamless sleep of pure exhaustion. And again, full long rest, not going to mess around with that. But you're able to then hear a on your door.
Oh. Takes a moment. Is am I Cass? Okay. Pulls on a robe and goes and opens the door.
As you try to open the door, you feel a hand kind of pull it a little bit closed so it can't open all the way. And you hear a voice speak to you that says, "Are you decent?" And you're able to hear Alwyn's voice on the other side of the door.
Yes, I'm decent.
quickly opens the door. You're able to see Alwyn steps into your room and then closes the door behind him. And you're able to see that he has like a coin purse in his hand. And he looks to you. He looks you up and down as you're still in the form of Cassiano, correct?
Yes.
As he looks and goes, I must say, I am very impressed with your performance. And the words come out of his mouth like it is a snake spitting venom, like it's hurting himself to have to say it.
I live to please, clearly.
You are worth your fee, certainly. And he extends this like coin purse over to you. And I don't know if we ever canonically discussed how much Wax would be paid for this job. But hands over this. We'll just say that you can just write down your features and traits, wealthy, as this is probably an insane amount of money.
Wealthy, writing it down.
Hands this over to you and says, after discussing with Adelia, there will be no further need of your services.
Okay. Well, I sort of open up the bag, look at the gold, close it. And do you remember the other part of the deal? You tell your friends, you tell your acquaintances about the candle maker. Powerful, mysterious. You don't know quite what it is they are, what it is they do, but not to turn them away if they offer their services.
But of course. No. Perhaps Bjorhaze may be in need of your services next. His omnipotence is failing him, but that is a conversation for another day.
Writing that down.
If you want to know more, you can always make checks to try to pry more out of him, but...
Oh. His omnipotence is failing him how?
Give me a quick charisma check, and you can make it whatever you want. But I'll say make it with advantage because Alwyn is very satisfied.
I will say persuasion. That is a 19.
With a 19, Alwyn, for the first time, this is probably the first time, besides when you were initially hired, that Alwyn is speaking to you in a way that is not just downright insulting or disappointed in your services. As Alwyn says, Bjorhaze Bisset is a man who knows far more than one would expect of him. That applies to the mystical, the arcane, but also history and the intricacies within families. Luckily, I believe he is too preoccupied with his own arcane experiments and forwarding of Allatour's export of magical items and weapons and scrolls to really interfere in politics in much any way. But recently, when I have been talking with him, he has been misremembering names and places and confusing pieces of history for what is happening now. And it is strange because to really make it clear, he knows more than he should. Knowledge and tomes. There is, if you are traveling there, he is a wealth of information.
So, events, figures from the past. He's speaking as if they're happening in the present.
Yes. It is minor slips in conversation that simply violate pre-agreed to terms of upper nobility talk, in the way of making mistakes with your words, as I am right now. So, but again, but perhaps he could be in use of someone with your youth and vigor and your skills to put on a show, to reestablish himself.
He actually might just be a couple steps ahead of the rest of us.
Perhaps.
You don't know it yet. We're about to have a chat and illuminate a few things upcoming very quick. But given that you're about to have a big problem on your doorstep and me and my compatriots are going to help you with it, could you do me one more favor?
What would that be?
Contact Beerhaze Beset and get any information that you can on lycanthropy and how to cure it.
When we meet, I have a way of directly communicating with him, and we can ask him together if you wish.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure doing business.
Alwyn extends his hand for a proper handshake and just says, "Can I ask you for a favor as well?"
Depends what it
He
is.
smacks you.
Myself, smack. My like, this is fucked up. More.
You look like your son.
Where is my bust?
It is not going to be secret for very long that there are two Cassianos roaming about the castle, and my wife and my youngest are going to be quite confused as to how Cassiano became so sick after their most recent conversations. So if I may respectfully ask that you do not use his form, at least within the castle.
Understood.
Then we have a deal, Candlemaker. And he holds out his hand to you for a handshake.
I shake his hand.
As you shake his hand, with the very proper Southern culture, 2 pumps, then down, with this conclusion of your business with Alwyn Pavel and with the Pavel family, at least the business in which you are being paid for, with your reputation growing, you can choose to add one of the following 2 spells to your spell list. Would you like to choose the spell Animal Friendship or Speak with Animals?
Oh. Oh man.
And if you don't have to decide that right now.
I might. Yeah, I'm gonna look up what those spells do, and
All
then
good.
I will let you know.
Not a problem at all. With that, you okay if we cut away?
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
Wow.
We cut away. The first honest, do you know, quick aside, Derby and I, every time that Alwyn and Cass have talked, it's been such a minefield of saying just enough to be able to be like, oh, thank God it's over. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yes.
Hoth, and this might not be at length to that extent, but Hathor, how are you coming to a state of relaxation and rest after such a few days of non-stop action?
She just sits in the tub, her knees up to her chest, arms wrapped around her body. She sits in there for a long time, just kind of staring at her feet. In quiet, in silence. She goes from these moments of like almost numb, wide-eyed, blank stare to she's pacing, she's like clawing at her hair, like gripping her hair, like tears in her eyes. Like she goes from these moments of like extreme agitation to just blank. Until finally, I think, with her sending stone, she lifts it up to her mouth and she goes, "Hey, Mama, can we talk?"
Darling, of course we can. It is so good to hear from you. How are your travels?
It's so... The world is so big. I haven't found it yet. But Mama, I got really hurt. Like, really, really hurt. And things are spinning wildly out of control here, and I am swiftly going from a tourist to, I think, somebody who's expected to save this entire continent, and I am freaking the fuck out, and I don't know what to do.
My love, come home. You can fly so fast and be home within 2 weeks, and we can be back to the cooking of the temple and educating the pirates. You can return whenever you wish.
It would be so nice. But what if... But what if I'm meant to be here? I don't know what kind of person I want to be. I don't know anything. It feels sometimes.
I saw it too. I saw it too.
Sorry, keep going.
It's so great. I think I meant to be here, and I don't know if I necessarily want to be here, but I think if I had hindsight, I'd still choose to be here. I'm sorry, Mama. I don't mean to make it sound like I'm choosing something over you.
I am so proud of you. Your father and I did our best to teach you tenacity. But to see it and to hear it, I know that we are both very proud.
How did you know that Dad was, that you two were meant to be together and not, how did you know that he was somebody different from all the people you take care of and all the people in need that we help as clerics and as guides of the Lady of Love? How did you know that you could be a person around him?
quick question, Moss. Does Hawthorne know the story about how Galadriel and Mary met?
Yes.
Then not boring the audience with the details, Mary says,
It was after we met, and after he resisted my charms. Once I understood that the act was not effective, I felt broken and I felt useless. And instead of him feeling victorious, he cared for me. It's as if he saw me in a way that I could not even see myself. And once he saw me that way, and he cared for me, it's as if there was no one else in the world.
Have you ever felt ugly in front of somebody that you really wanted to think that you were hot?
Oh, sweetie, all the time, yes. When I first met your father, I was in this like extremely seductive, attractive attire with these wings tucked into my back. I was looking incredible. But then once, after like 2 or 3 weeks of trying to be the best succubi in the world, I just felt so ugly and defeated because I was like, damn, this dude is locked up. It's just so hard, you know?
Yeah. I guess.
I'm so glad we can have these conversations in such a casual way.
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly. But honey, where's that coming from?
I got bit by a werewolf.
No.
And Higgy's coming, and I don't want him to see me like this.
Oh, Higgy is wonderful. He's not going to care. There was one morning that we were having a conversation, and he said that he was bitten by a bird at one point that caused his right leg to be turned to stone, but then he had a date with you,
and you realize that you have no idea what story she's telling you about right now, that even Higgy has not told you.
And he was seeing you that evening. You know what I'm talking about.
Sure, yeah.
And
yeah.
Yes, and you were going to the Triple F, and he was hobbling on his leg, and he told you that, it was because of an injury that he got making money in the fighting pits. But then he had to come back to me after the date concluded, when you went up to your chambers, and I had to give him the medicine to revert it before you two had your private time.
Cool, yeah. Did we go to the Triple F?
Not more just for like entertainment, not for okay. Well, I'm not gonna write your own character. If Hawthor would do it, Hawthor would do it.
Hawthor would do it.
Okay, yeah.
It's fear, and that adrenaline can bond people together. And we recommend that couples that are trying, like first dates kind of things like that. But you two have been together for so long. How is Higgy? But you're going to be fine. Lycanthropy, and I understand if you're scared about that, but I can guarantee that you are beautiful to me and to Higgy, but most importantly, yourself.
I don't feel beautiful to myself. I don't want to be this. There's hair growing and I don't like it. And if you have any tips or tricks on like if you have any fantasy nair or something like that, you know.
Well, I imagine that you have already discussed the peppermint water with people, correct?
Yeah, of course.
If you were actually able to mix it with a combination of lavender and citrus as well, that can actually remove the topographical appearance of the hair. It won't revert the stages back, but if you're worried about an excess of that...
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Hathor just like tearily talks to her mom.
Yes, this goes on for a long time, as you two just kind of bond over, and like very much like the emotions are still charged. It's still very much there, and nothing is quote unquote fixed. But it's that wonderful peace knowing that Higgy loves and cares about you and is rushing towards you, and that your mother, a succubi from the Sixth Circle, could not be phased by anything that you're telling her. And as she relays to you this conversation about the Battle of the Bards and Cowrie and the Shinies.
Wait, what? Are you okay?
Oh, I got knocked out. I got
Who the fuck
knocked
did
out.
this?
Now,
What's their name?
Now, the name is Cowrie, and the Shinies, and
Okay, I'll fucking remember that if
No,
I.
it was strange. Well, because they actually caused Yasa to crack her own skull, which was very fun to see.
Oh.
Yes.
That's dope.
And
That's
also it
cool.
made Talentus and I had a very long conversation about what happened to her because she had the complete opposite effect.
She had a good time?
It was a pulse of celestial energy, and then I blacked out.
Oh. Whoa, celestial. That's interesting. Okay.
And the conversation continues from there.
Yeah. They blew up. Wow.
Oh yeah,
They broke the
Yasa's not
bracelet?
happy. Good.
That's, you know,
It was metal as hell.
it was metal as hell.
All right, and and again, Hathor has this conversation with Mary in the way of like the complete non-judgment of a great parent, of someone who is very deeply caring, supportive, but also treats you like a friend in the way of like, I want you to feel good, not just because I want you to feel good, but in the way because I want you to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and Cherie, how does Cherie become relaxed after such a chaotic few days?
I think her brain is still on that fixer mode. And then once she's historically once she's by herself and like there is nothing to fix, she doesn't really know what to do with herself. She does like go through the motions of like her nighttime routine just to distract her, and like in a way it's something she can fix even though it's not the thing she wants to fix. She'll once she's gone through the motions, just like last time, she looks at the bed and like contemplates getting in it. Instead, no.
Oh, okay,
instead, she would like she will instead go to Hathor's quarters.
Oh. All right.
I love you, Mama. I'll talk to you later.
I love you so much.
It turns out.
Click.
Yeah.
What?
I'm hanging up.
Over.
The longest conversation in the world.
That was a little bit more than 25 words, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Walkie-talkies.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Yeah, Cherie will knock at Hathor's quarters.
Just, opens the door, wearing a robe, hair tied up in a messy bun, eyes red from on and off weeping. But a little bit more color in her cheeks as she goes, hi.
I'm sorry, did I wake you?
No. No. Come in.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I have a seat or a sleep or...
If may I be so bold as to help guarantee you feel safe to rest?
Sure. I'm sorry. I fully thought you were going to come in here and be like, don't you ever sacrifice your life again. And I had a whole spiel planned. But yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds way better.
I think I've said enough for a mind without rest.
Me too.
I can take a chair in the corner. Obviously, you take the bed.
How big is the bed?
It's big enough. It's big enough for two, respectfully.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Got you.
Listen, I once had a partner who thought it was sexy to like watch me sleep, and it was not cool.
That's not what I. That's
no,
not...
I know. But what I'm saying is, oh my god, I'm so tired. I'm sorry. What I'm saying is that I would actually prefer it if we could just sleep. You know, that would make me feel a lot safer than worrying about you and all the stiffness in your neck and all the pressure points you were hitting in the wrong ways by sitting on a chair all night. And so
I slept on the floor last night and I'm completely fine.
I know, but I will not be able to sleep if I am thinking about how bad that lumbar support is. So
I am used.
If you don't want the bed, you can take the floor. Just please let me give you a blanket or...
I can sleep anywhere, Hawthor, but if you would feel more safe, then I am amenable to that.
I would really like it. I thought I was braver. I am brave. I'm brave. I never really felt lonely before, or I guess I never really thought about it, but it's nice to know somebody, to be friends with somebody.
I can agree on that. I won't... Lecture is not the word I want to use, but it's the only one coming to my mind because you do not deserve that treatment, but I want you to know that if for nothing else, we are going to fix this. If for nothing else, Hathor, we are going to fix it for you.
Don't you know how to make a girl feel special? And kind of not hard, but pretends to punch Cherie's shoulder.
So you miss.
Ow.
Is what you're saying.
I miss.
I still say ow, even though she misses.
You're a real one.
As you miss, I actually catch your hand. I press a kiss to her knuckles, and I say, "You're more than special. You're the one good thing in this world."
Full blush. Full blush. Holy shit. I think this is the last time we will ever see Hathor flustered. Cool. Wow. Thank you. I like making the world a better place. It's if I don't find a light, I'd like to make it. So, yeah.
You are that light.
Is this like do I need to say something that, like, is this like a thing that you do in Allatour?
No.
Okay.
No. I too am. The reason I said we are, you, myself, and Wax are more alike is that I too am unfamiliar with the customs of this land. I am merely telling you something that you should have been told a while ago by every single person you come across.
You know, Cherie, I can imagine this is not what you want to hear. But I do not regret giving you my last of my fire before the tornado came. And I know you, or I wonder if you don't think yourself worthy of being saved. I imagine you are more comfortable doing the saving than anything else. Maybe you find a peace in it. Maybe you find a calmness in it that you may not have anywhere else. And I will stop analyzing you. But from one helper to another, we are allowed to be more than just lights.
I was saved once. And for the rest of my days, I want to repay that. In any way I can.
If that's what you want, then of course, go for it. But I hope you don't lose yourself along the way. Because what you are deserves to live.
Likewise.
Yeah.
And what I think the both of us wants is to get some rest, so...
Fuck yeah.
Like leans over, puts a peppermint candy in her mouth and goes, okay, I'm ready for, okay. Oh, God.
After you, please.
like fully crawls into bed. Like it's so like as soon as like not the formality, but like the
emotional intensity, yeah.
ebbs. It's just full like, I can't go to bed. I'm so fucking tired. Oh, fuck me. Okay. Out.
The softest fucking sheets and pillows that you've ever felt, Hathor.
As soon as she's out, I carefully get in bed beside her without disturbing her.
Cherie fully like, it's Author's like,
Cherie's sleeping face is just her closing her eyes. There is no altering of her physical form at all.
Holy shit, that's so true.
But as you all begin to rest, and as you are all within the safety of Herbe Courte, at least for right now, knowing what comes the evening after supper, that Charietto and F will be assaulting Herbe Courte in some way, that's where we're going to end tonight's session. But, ladies and gentlemen, are we all having a good time?
Yeah.
Some of the best fucking roleplay I've ever seen. That is great. That was amazing. You guys
watching
are
the
fucking
shit
champs.
out of my shows.
I'm watching the fuck out of my shows, bro.
The fuck out of my shows,
The
bro.
machine is running itself. I can just sit here and just watch you guys have fun. Yes. There's this great quote that I'm forgetting who wrote it. But it basically says, put your characters through hell. See what they're made of. And I really feel like the last 3 sessions of this game leading up to this have been like nonstop foot on the gas, like death around every single fucking turn. And just now, like, there is such a depth, like, besides all like the obvious like secrets and reveals and things like that, some of which we're still getting to. But just the mindset of, like, and I gotta highlight right now, because you know, fucking Wax and Cherie are excellent for reasons that I can't, like, with nuances that I can't yet reveal. But Hathor's, because all like Hathor's whole idea of like, I'm a fish out of water kind of story. The idea of like that finally breaking and being like, I do not belong here. This shit is fucked. Like it really seems like it's going from like Hathor as a concept to Hathor as a person, in the way of like, oh, I'm not glitzy and glamour anymore. We're fucked. Like, this is like, I'm a kid.
I'm a child.
Yep.
I'm just a little guy. And it's my first day.
And that's not
It's my first day.
My first
and that's
day.
not me taking anything away from the incredible performance. I just think it's a great nuance of like, oh, the real Hathor outside of like the cleric helper is now shining through, and it's just great depth. I just loved seeing it. So
Yeah.
How old is Hathor?
24.
Okay.
God, can you
That's
imagine
a
being
baby.
our-
He's a
baby.
Yep, exactly.
Baby.
I forgot about this. Cherie is 38. Like, I fucking forgot about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's older.
She's so great. Cherie is.
Older.
Like, it's not stereotypical. It's not in this like 2-dimensional way, but Cherie is so good at monster hunting in a way that is so fucking enrapturing to see. Of like, oh my god, like, it's such an interesting take on the blood hunter class, and it's so cool.
There
And
was
then you kissed Hathor on the knuckles, and she's like,
You're so tall.
are you my
You're so
friend
hot.
now? Are we friends? Wow.
Yeah. And then also I do have like, because a lot of shit's gonna happen, and because I'm glad that we kind of had this like calm session, because next session there's gonna be a lot of shit that happens back to back to back, in the way of like, because probably what's gonna happen for next session is we're going to have like probably the end of the session is gonna be like the assault on Herbe Courte, like the beginning of that. But before that happens, like right before, we're going to have cliffhanger stuff for Cherie and for Hathor for arcs going forward, which I'm very excited to reveal. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
But before we hop into any of that, well, guys, I'm very happy you guys want to tell stories like this with me. It's super fucking cool. You guys are awesome. And every time we do this, and because I know editing this back, it's awesome to see you guys just so in your element and doing such a great job. And I really just appreciate you spending so much time in this world and with me, and I just appreciate it. So thank you.
We
I was
appreciate
like
you building the world.
Yeah. Oh my God, Drew, we could not do this without you.
No, that was not me fishing for compliments. That was just me giving praise where praise is due.
Shut up and take a compliment.
After honestly, there was a period before Kenneth Ward, and now there's a period after Kenneth Ward where just the depth of characters is being so and also because I think you guys are just from what I'm seeing, you guys are learning how to get into the guts of characters more, which I'm loving a lot, because it basically says hey Drew, make in-depth stuff because we're gonna ask about it.
Of course.
So yeah, and so I'm just really.
It was that role play, because I've done. Listen, I can fake cry so easily. That's not a flex. It's just when I was little, I would play make believe with myself, and one of the things would be "You hurt me."
With
well,
yourself.
Yeah. I play little games in my room with myself.
Yeah, don't we all? That's what I'm doing right now. So
basically, now I have friends. But I think that was the first time that because we've done heavy stuff before.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that I was was consciously choosing to speak in first person and not third, not instead of being oh Hathor's doing this or that, to be in first person and then also choose to not make jokes, not break character or anything, but just really focus in, and God was it fun.
Yeah, well, and I love it mainly because because Kate and I've talked about it so many times. There's this idea that I fucking love. I wish that there was a cop show like The Rookie or whatever, and then season 1 is just, or half of season 1 is just regular cop show hijinks, and the back half of season 1 it becomes a zombie apocalypse show, in the way that it in the sense where it wasn't in any of the marketing. That's not what it was marketed at all, and then it becomes a serious tale of survival. And I feel for this game it very much was the whimsy and the wonder of Allatour, and now it's oh, and also this deep-seated deep-seated hidden fae history shit with intrigue and imposter syndrome and all this kind of crazy stuff. And we are gonna pivot back to ridiculousness when we get into the Feywild, because it is the Feywild, and also when we get back to
in between,
the episodic session kind of stuff. But for right now, it's damn, the characters at the beginning to the characters now, I'm just so impressed. I'm so happy with just the depth of all of it. It's fucking cool. I like it a lot. But yeah, but with all that, I'm EP. So everybody that's watching, please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for coming to the table, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace out, guys. Get ready.
I love you guys.
Love you.
Hi, thank you for coming.